Hi, this is James from jamesmorganvideo.co.uk bringing you this review of the Sony HXR-MC2000E camcorder. This shoulder mount camera forms part of Sony's AVCHD range. It is aimed at the more amateur market, priced at around £1,200, that has most of the features you would expect from a camera of this price. Included in the box of this camera upon purchase is an MP-F570 battery pack, stereo microphone, an AC adapter for charging, the eye cup, lens hood, lens cap, composite cables, a USB cable and a USB adapter for external hard drives. There is no HDMI cable included in this package. When shooting with this camera, its highest setting records 1920 by 1080 50i footage at 24 megabits per second in FX mode, and can also record in 720p or standard definition. The HD codec is H.264 or MPEG-4, of which the files have a .mts extension, which is viewable in VLC Media Player, Windows Media Player, and so on. The camera also records standard definition footage in MPEG-2, should you need the footage for a standard definition production. There is also a 200 frames per second smooth slow record option, which allows you to capture slow motion footage for a limited period, although the picture quality will be slightly degraded by this. The camera body itself weighs just under 3 kilograms with all the various accessories attached, and is about 25 centimeters long, 23 centimeters wide and 46 centimeters high, making it quite a versatile camera, albeit not the smallest. So looking at the makeup of the camera. Starting at the front end, the camera has Sony's new G lens, with 12 times optical zoom and an optional 160 times digital zoom. The lens has a filter diameter of 37mm, which is similar to that of more consumer cameras. The camera uses a 1/4 inch Exmor-R CMOS sensor, so not the traditional CCDs, but it provides excellent image quality, especially in lower light conditions. On the lens there is only the one ring, which is assignable to different functions. There is of course an autofocus option, which has a face detection mode available as well, which can be found within the menus. One excellent feature of this camera is the new Optical Stabilizer. With the stabilizer mode on, you can achieve almost perfectly smooth shots when you are walking with the camera, say, on your shoulder. The camera has an aperture of f1.8 to f3.4 and a minimum illumination of 3 lux in low lux mode, which makes a big difference in low light situations. The lens hood is easily removable, like so, should you wish to gain better access for adding filters or to attach a small matte box. The camera also has the expected zoom rocker, record and photo buttons on the side of the lens, with a lighter or heavier press on the rocker to adjust the zoom speed. On the off side of the camera we find the various ports. First is the SD card slot, covered nicely by this sliding door. The camera can record to SD cards, or alternatively you can use Sony's Memory Stick Pro Duo cards. The camera has 64GB of built-in storage, and you can switch between either the internal storage or an external mode of storage easily within the camera's menus. Recording time in FX mode, Full HD, is approximately 6 hours onto the 64GB internal memory, so you will get around 3 hours of Full HD footage onto a 32GB SD card. Moving along the side, we find the flap that opens up, providing access to HDMI and mini USB ports. You can use the HDMI for watching footage back on a monitor or TV, and the USB port for data transfer to a computer. You can also copy directly to an external hard drive using the supplied adapter cable. The final flap on this side of the camera provides access to your component output ports and also your AV out ports for further external viewing options. On the back of the camera we have the battery slot, which accepts Sony MP-F type batteries. The standard MP-F570 battery provides a battery life of approximately 5 hours of recording time, and the long life battery you can purchase separately for this camera, the MP-F970, provides a recording time of an incredible 15 hours, so it's safe to say you're good on the power front. On the back you also find your 3.5mm headphone socket and a 2.5mm socket for LANC remote controllers, as well as your AC adapter socket for running the camera off mains power and charging. As standard, the battery is charged on the camera, but you can purchase standalone chargers if you wish. Just below is the shoulder pad, which is comfortable and supportive, and is also adjustable by moving the screws, which can be helpful for different sized people or setups. On the top of the camera is the main handle, which has a zoom rocker as well as a record button, helpful for lower angle handheld work. There are two cold shoes on the handle, one at the front and one at the back, and there is also a handy recording light which turns on when you are recording. Please note these are cold shoes and will not provide power to external peripherals. The microphone bracket is on the top right and it opens up like so, allowing you to place the microphone in. The supplied stereo microphone is of good quality, however the audio input for the camera is a single 3.5mm jack. You can buy additional third-party accessories which provide XLR sockets that then plug into the 3.5mm input, but I am yet to try any of these with the camera. The microphone has this handy little rubber attachment which allows you to fit alternative microphones into the holder without the risk of them slipping out. On the opposite side of the handle is the viewfinder and LCD screen. The 2.7-inch LCD is excellent, very easy to view, displays all the relevant information and is rotatable throughout almost 360 degrees. The viewfinder is good for monitoring in easy auto mode, but the size of the image is quite small, on a 0.2-inch display, so manually focusing can be challenging because you might not quite be sure if you've got a completely sharp image. It does the job, but realistically could do with being larger to give a better view of the shot. The entire column with the viewfinder and LCD can be tilted up and down as well as pulled out to provide the right setup for the individual operator. The menu on this camera is controlled through the LCD touch panel as opposed to with buttons or a remote, which is fine, but occasionally you may tap the wrong button if you're in a rush. It has plenty of options for almost everything you'll need, and the home menu is customizable for your most used features. Finally, on the near side of the camera there is very few buttons, as would be expected. The Easy Auto button provides a fully automatic setup, focus, iris, white balance, etc., for those occasions when you may want the camera to set itself up. The manual button allows you to switch from Easy Auto to manual ring use, and by holding down the manual button, a list is brought up for you to choose which function to assign to the ring. There is also a playback button for viewing your shot footage and a mode button for switching between video and photo modes. So some pros and cons of this camera that might be worth considering if you're looking at purchasing it. On the plus side, it has a great lens and stabilizer, is easy to use, shoots full HD video, and is a perfect camera for starting out thanks to its user-friendly setup and digital recording capabilities. It also has plenty different options for accessories, from monitors to XLR adapters, and carries all the ports you would expect in the modern production world, such as HDMI. The smooth slow record option is also very good if you can get the timing right. However, I feel this camera is let down by its lack of audio control and XLR inputs, also its viewfinder, which is quite small. On a camera of this price you might not expect the same features that you would find on cameras such as the Sony NX5 or Z7, which are much more expensive, but it would be nice to have that increased control over the sound you are capturing as well. The small viewfinder can be difficult to use for getting perfectly sharp images, but the placement of the LCD means if you have trouble you can always just use this instead. There is also no Sdi output on this camera, although with the introduction of more HDMI monitors and external recorders, this isn't as much of an issue. Here is some test footage from the camera showing standard daylight use, both handheld and on the shoulder, low lux mode at night, and also some 200 frames per second smooth slow record. So to conclude the review of this camera, for the price you're paying, you get a great deal. If this is your first more professional camera, as it was for me, it is great to learn with. I've owned this camera for about 8 months now, and it has helped me develop a lot of skills within camera operation on a wide variety of shoots. It's easy to find yourself debating whether or not to purchase this camera, especially if more specific audio control is important to you. But do you need to spend £1,000 more to get a camera with XLR inputs, or is it better to just purchase this camera and upgrade with accessories as your skills and needs increase? Considering the price and flexibility of this camera, I think it's a great place to start. Thanks for watching.